Chapter 391, Divine Dragon Transformation. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen, are you trying to fight against the Saint Gentries alone? You are biting off more than you can chew. With his hands at the back, Xue King stood stoically. He looked down at Zhang Yuochen and hummed coldly. The four of them, Xue King, Zuo Fenggu, Shen Yuntong and the descendant from Saint Zai Gentry, stood on the 50th step. Each of them gave out a bright holy light. They were so overbearing and arrogant that they looked like four young kings. But Zhang Yuochen showed no fear. He stood up again and wiped away the bloodstain on his mouth. He straightened his body and suddenly, all of his chi came to his chi-si at once. Whoosh! The 10,000th vital essence was successfully condensed. Floating in the chi-si, the 10,000 drops of the vital essence glowed in green and clashed with one another. The number of vital essences started to drop, but each vital essence became bigger and bigger. Finally, there were only 2 vital essences in the chi-si, and each of them was the size of a pearl. Shining in all directions, they revolved around each other and pulled each other nearer and nearer. Boom! They crashed together and condensed into a pigeon egg-sized liquid vital essence ball. The moment the vital essence ball was condensed, Zhang Yuochen's pores were all opened and madly absorbed the spiritual chi between heaven and earth. On the stairway to heaven, wisps of spiritual chi gathered to Zhang Yuochen and formed a huge spiritual chi vortex. The 4 descendants from the Saint Gentries kept backing up, fearing to be sucked into the vortex. What? Is he trying to break through the realm on the stairway to heaven? Xue King's expression changed and said, "We can't let him break through. Let's go." After saying this, Xue King stepped out first. He activated the fiery wings again. His whole body was covered with fire. Then he flew towards Zhang Yuochen like a huge golden fireball. Infinite Palm. The descendant from the Saint Zai Gentry transferred his genuine chi. She lifted up his left arm and sanctified it completely. Every inch of her skin gave out the strong light that was brighter than the sun. Her holy blood revived. Although she was not a saintly being now since only her arm was sanctified, the power of her arm was extremely strong, which could burst out the power 10 times stronger than usual. There was a shrill burst of wind in the air when she struck. The palm power dashed towards Zhang Yuochen like a fierce storm. Domineering Saint Fist technique. Inherited from the domineering saint, Shen Yuntong's blood was boiling and his body was expanding, making cracking noise. After a while, he turned into a 5-meter-tall giant. Steel-like muscles appeared on the surface of his body. His fists were as big as wash basins, containing infinite power. The blood of the domineering saint was recovering. Although he was not a saintly being yet, he could be seen as a half-saint. Zuo Fenggu, in his alchemist robe, was the only one who did not make a move. But he was gathering his strength secretly as well, planning strike a deadly blow with spiritual power towards Zhang Yuochen at any moment. Below the stairway to heaven, all the students were shocked with mouth wide open. These descendants from the Saint Gentries were so powerful that they looked like deities descending from heaven. Each one of them is an elite warrior, and now they are working together to fight against Zhang Yuochen. I think every one of them has the strength to beat Zhang Yuochen's match. What do you know? Zhang Yuochen is at the crucial moment of breaking through the realm. If he succeed, he will get into a whole new realm. Of course, people like Xue King won't let him make it. Otherwise, they are no match for Zhang Yuochen even if they work together. Only a warrior in the heaven realm could understand how hard it was to break through the realm. Every realm was a barrier, and even the mid-stage and the advanced stage of the heaven realm, which were the easiest to break through, needed a long period of accumulation. Just when Xue King's attack was going to land on Zhang Yuochen's body, Zhang Yuochen's body gave out a bright green light of genuine chi. Boom! Zhang Yuochen stretched out his arms as if all of his muscles and bones became one. 2 illusory images of flying dragon of genuine chi appeared, and then they struck out simultaneously. Xue King also struck out. But the moment he touched Zhang Yuochen, he felt an extremely powerful force coming from his arms. He could not help but fly backward. When Xue King fell on the ground, he could not feel his arms, and his body became flaccid as if his soul had left him. This was bad. Xue King immediately transferred his genuine chi, which flowed out of his chi-si towards his entire body through meridians. Under the nourishing of genuine chi, his sense of his body began to restore, followed by unbearable pain from his arms and legs. Apparently, the collision just now had wounded him severely. How could he be so strong? Could it be that he had already broken through the realm? Xia King's face immediately lost all color and he felt extremely pressured by the person in front of him. Could they handle Jiang Yuochen after he broke through the realm? Indeed, Jiang Yuochen had broken through the advanced stage of the heaven realm. But he did not have the time to digest the power, because Xin Yuntong and the descendant from the Saint Zai Gentry had already attacked towards him. The descendant from the Saint Zai Gentry struck with her hand. With the moving of her fingers, millions of hand shadow appeared in the void space. It looked like every hand carried endless and unpredictable saint power. From Jiang Yuochen's globula, a sky appeared, with which Jiang Yuochen spotted the real hand precisely. So, Jiang Yuochen stretched his right hand, clenched her wrist, took hold of her meridians and pulled her. The descendant from Saint Zai Gentry was surprised. She could not help but fly towards Jiang Yuochen. Jiang Yuochen clenched her wrist so tight that his fingers stabbed into her skin. With her wrist in hand, he swung his arm quickly and threw her hard on the stairway. Pow! The descendant from Saint Zai Gentry clashed with the stairway hard. Her body cracked, and she groaned out of agony. She laid on the ground and could not move. With blood on her mouth, she shuddered all over. Jiang Yuochen let her wrist go and stepped forward to meet Xin Yuntong. Now, Xin Yuntong was almost 5 meters tall, like a big-boned beast. His fists were like hammers, as if one punch could crack the earth open. Bang! Bang! Dragon's roar raised inside Jiang Yuochen's body. He kept performing palm technique and confronted Xin Yuntong with toughness. Xin Yuntong was born with natural divine power. After inheriting the domineering saint's power, he was even more terrifying. In the same realm, no one could even block his one single punch. Now, Jiang Yuochen was one realm lower than him, but Jiang Yuochen could suppress him in raw strength and kept forcing him back. Even Jiang Yuochen himself didn't realize, with his continuous punching, his hands were turned into golden dragon claws with dragon scales on them. What's more, these golden dragon scales kept growing towards his shoulders, head, chest, and legs. After a while, Jiang Yuochen became a 10 feet long golden dragon. Oh woo! An exploding dragon's roar raised up, and even the stairway to heaven seemed like to be shaken a bit. The half-saints in the holy temple couldn't believe their eyes. One of them stood up and blurted out, It's the legendary divine dragon transformation. Only the human warrior who refined the divine dragon pearl could perform this unique technique. A mortal actually turned into a divine dragon. Let's attack together. We must take him down. Xia King recovered from the shock and attacked Jiang Yuochen again. He performed his unique technique, which turned his 81 punches into 81 shadows that punched together. The descendant from Saint Zai Gentry got up from the ground and punched on the stairway. Her palm cracked open at once and blood was splattered everywhere. She then exercised her technique and the blood on her hand began to burn. Traces of white inscriptions appeared all over her arms, palms and fingers, like white strings. They quickly covered her whole body. This was a secret spell. With the help of this secret spell, she could transfer the power of the divine hand to her whole body and burst out the power of the saintly being in a short time. In other words, she just temporarily became a saintly being, albeit a fake one. Xin Yuntong also had his unique technique. Now, he performed it and tried to attack Jiang Yuochen. Seeing Jiang Yuochen turning into a golden dragon, Zhuo Fenggu also started attacking. He was a spiritual power master, so he did not dash to Jiang Yuochen directly. Instead, he raised his arm slowly and pointed to Jiang Yuochen. The spiritual chi between the heaven and earth shook and turned into flames, forming a blossoming flame floating in the air. These flames were like a myriad of lights in the valley. They gradually condensed into a huge flaming phoenix. The phoenix stretched its 2 claws and rushed towards the golden dragon. Standing below the stairway and looking up, people could only see a golden dragon fighting with a flaming phoenix, while the two made ear-splitting noises. At the same time, the giant, turned by Xin Yuntong, held a huge axe condensed by genuine chi and slashed the golden dragon as well. The descendant from Saint Zai Gentry floated in the air like one of the 9 goddesses of the Empyrean. From her fingertips, traces of light columns struck out and fell on the golden dragon's body. The king's 81 shadows surrounded the golden dragon completely. Some of them performed the fist technique, some of them performed the palm technique, and some of them performed the sword skill. Each of the four masters proved their worth and fought with the golden dragon. Bang, bang. The golden dragon kept striking out palm print while flying in every direction. All four descendants from the St. Gentries coughed up blood and flew backward. Wha! The golden dragon uttered a long and loud cry. It turned into a ray light and landed on the stairway again and condensed shadowy figure. It had returned to human form. Zhang Yuochen took a couple of deep breaths and stared at his hands in surprise. He could not believe that he had just performed the Divine Dragon transformation. The Divine Dragon transformation was a ghost-level superior class martial technique. Even if a warrior had refined the Dragon Pearl, he needed to practice this martial technique to become a dragon. But Zhang Yuochen had never practiced the Divine Dragon transformation before. He, however, directly turned into a golden dragon during the battle and defeated the four descendants from the St. Gentries. What was going on? I performed the dragon and elephant prajna palm while battling the descendant from St. Gentry. Is this palm technique somehow related to the Divine Dragon transformation? Is that why I turned into a dragon, because of some kind of power I accidentally stimulated while performing that palm technique? Actually, Zhang Yuochen wasn't wrong about that, because the Divine Dragon transformation was created by a saint who comprehended the 9 movements of the dragon and elephant prajna palm and created the draconic transformation. The Divine Dragon transformation and the dragon and elephant prajna palm, therefore, were somehow related. During the battle, Zhang Yuochen had a very small probability to stimulate the power of the Divine Dragon transformation. But no one knew how small the probability was. It could be 1%, 0.1%, or even 0.01%.